MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.
Good evening, everyone. Stuart, Jolley, Tim Clifton along with you for our weekly Tim Clifton Coaches Show. And Coach, it was kind of a strange week last week. Mountain Lions ended up playing on Thursday against Lenoir-Rhyne in the season opener in the South Atlantic Conference. Came up a bit short on that one, 59-27 victory by the Bears. But it was one of those things, at least from my perspective, doing the play-by-play, that it looked like we kind of been rushed into things. And I know that makes a difference because players are like everybody else. We have our system. This day it happens, this day it happens, this day it happens. Talk to us a little bit about how a weekly prep normally looks and how you had to move things up.
Well, normally we come back on Sunday and work through the kicking games and go through some mistakes. Then we take Monday off. You give players the day off on Monday. Then we come back and we have our hard work day on Tuesday, hard work day on Wednesday, back off a little bit on Thursday, and review on Friday, some things that you want to review. So what we did is we played on Saturday, and we did a short practice on Sunday like we always do. Then we took Monday off. Then we find out on Tuesday about the weather over in Hickory. So on Tuesday, we got hit by the weather ourselves, and lightning kept us off the field till after 5 o'clock, and then we had to be in the cafeteria at 7. So we got about an hour and 15 minutes that day, and then we find out Wednesday morning about a little before noon that we're playing on Thursday. So now you're out in just helmets, and you're trying to get lined up and get adjustments done. So it was a little bit quick. It was within 24 hours that we knew we were going to have to get ready, and it wasn't a regular prep week. So now you're rushing to get everything done and then get on the road on Thursday. You know, leave out here Thursday morning to get there and play at 2 o'clock.
Because we didn't even play a night game. We played that afternoon, so everything
Right.
is very compressed. Overall, going into that game, short week, I think positive coming out of that. Obviously, we'll probably roll into this week in which, okay, that short week there gives us a longer week of prep going into Catawba and better adjustment time for that. But one of the things with Lenoir-Rhyne, if I remember correctly, is offensively, they didn't do what we normally see by teams in the South Atlantic. That they were, if you're a non-football person, let's do it from a non-football person standpoint. You come in, you sit down to watch that game, and you look at Lenoir-Rhyne and you're thinking, they've got this dance line or something lined up here because they start here and they boogie to the right or they boogie to the left. So talk to us a little bit about that, because I know that has to be, from a defensive standpoint, a challenge for any team.
Yeah, they're a wing T team, and you just don't see the wing T anymore. And we knew going in when we had to rush that now you're just trying to put a deal together where you can get lined up, because they're always wing Ts are always trying to outnumber you and get an advantage by numbers. And the way they do it is they shift. They don't shift normally like a conventional or anything like that. So we had a short prep, but we had to, work on getting aligned. I think that was the biggest thing, is just trying to get aligned to all the formations they can get into. And, they're not going to work on different formations. They just going to do it like they've done it the whole year. So we had a lot of work to do to try to get lined up. And there were a lot of times we weren't lined up, that we were outnumbered at the point of attack. And that's what that does. It's a little bit like playing split back veer, Carson Lemon. If you don't see it all ever, except one time a year, and then you're trying to get adjusted and lined up to it. And short week, I think we've had one short week in all those years with Carson Lemon. But this one was a little different than ever before, because we had a Tuesday that we couldn't get a full practice in, and then a Wednesday in just elements to try to play on Thursday so you can try to get your legs back. So it was a little bit of a challenge. They had to get ready too. you know, but they didn't have to get ready for that kind of offense. And you know, we made some mistakes early in the second quarter. I think that really gave them a little momentum, because early we were moving the football and getting them stopped. We even blocked the first punt, but it rolled down to about the 4-yard line after we tipped it. So, you know, we just had we had a lot of work to do in a short period of time, and you know, we didn't quite accomplish what we were trying to get accomplished in that short period of time.
Is that the type of game, seeing that type of offense, that the deeper you get into the game, our players get more comfortable in terms of defensively against that?
Well, if you can adjust, the key is just adjusting to how they're lining up, and you know, it's got 3 or 4 plays to it that all look the same, and then the formations moving the way they move, and they had a good game plan. I mean, they do a good job with that offense. They put a lot of points on the board against North Greenville, which you don't normally do against North Greenville, and they put a lot of points on the board against West Alabama. You know, West Alabama is one of the best teams in the country in Division II, and but they got them early, and you know, did a good job there. You know, they're a good football team. We made a few mistakes that hurt us, but I think we learned a lot about ourselves as the game went on.
Looking back at some of the scoring recap from that contest, early on the Bears get on the board first. Carter connects with a 11-yard pass. The kick is true. It's a 7-0 lead at the 8:20 mark. 5:39 mark, first quarter. Mitchell punches it in for 7 yards out. 5 plays and 25 yards. They're up 15-7, and then closing out the first quarter of play, Mitchell again, pass from Willingham. The kick is good. It's 21-0 after 1 quarter of play. Talk with us a little about, okay, you down 3 scores early on, but we're adjusting to what they're doing. We're beginning to get in that rhythm. And as you said, we had a good second quarter to some degree.
And you know, we had some opportunities to you know, put some points on the board, but you know, I think we got some guys that can score quickly. So you know, going down 14 or 21 or whatever, I think we've got enough firepower that we get the ball in space to some of our guys. You know, we hit them with the inside zone to put points up real fast, and then you're thinking, all right, now you got a chance. You just got to keep working, you know. But we made some, you know, some crucial mistakes there that gave them a little bit more momentum right before half, and that's where I think right before half we gave them a little momentum. Then once you do that, now you got to come out in the second half, and then you got to play. You don't play with the scoreboard. You just play now.
You were talking there about in the second quarter, us getting on the board. It was 13-28. Watkins, a 32-yard run. Tanner Fox's kick is good. So it's a 21-7 game, 13-28 to go. And then latter part of second quarter, Huff connects on a 1-yard run, able to get the kick in. It's 28-7 LR, and then they'll close out their scoring kind of bang, bang. Right there, as you said at the end, 2 quick scores. Drake Starks pass from Willingham from 22 yards out with a score, and the kick is good. And then at 1:20, another quick score with them. Their last 2 scores, and this is what folks need to know if you didn't hear the game or were not there to watch the game, those last 2 scores in that second quarter, total time was 7 seconds on one and 23 seconds on the other. So you take those 2 off the board, Lions are in a really good shape rolling in halftime, but the thing is, you can't take that off the board. So you go in at the half, bang, bang, those 2 scores take place. What does that look like from a coaching standpoint and from a team standpoint as you get ready to come back out for the second half?
Well, you've lost some momentum, and the game is all about momentum. And you've lost some momentum because of 2 quick scores. So what you try to do is at halftime, you want to get the guys to come back and play the way you want them to play. And then you don't look at the scoreboard early. You just say, all right, we're going to go out and execute. Let's execute defensively, let's execute offensively. Let's get better in every phase on every play, and play one play at a time. Get better every play.
We're going to come back. We'll talk about that second half and a lot more right after this. Welcome back. Stuart, Jolley, Tim Clifton along with you. Coach, rolling into the third quarter. It's a 42-7 game. Team comes out second half, re-energized. For LR, they come down. Defense makes a stop. They have to settle for a field goal, so it's a 45-7 ball game. And then Craig Rucker, Austin Brown combination, they hook up again at the 4:49 mark. Mars Hill 45-14, getting back in it. Then as we roll into the fourth quarter, Rucker pass from James Razua. New name, new QB coming in for Mars Hill, gives us a little bit different look, and they get a score with that combination, so it's 45-21. Late there, as we begin to get the waning part of the fourth quarter, Young comes in from 5 yards out, making it 52-21 for Lenoir-Rhyne. And then Mars Hill comes down. Arzua connects with Cowart for a score. It's a 52-27 game. And then right there at the end, they're able to really just chew up down the field and run out the clock basically as they score late in the fourth quarter, making it a 59-27 ball game. But again, Lions able to move the football a little bit better in the second half. Statistically, if I remember correctly, we improved on third down conversions. That's something you and I talked about going into the game. So let's talk a little bit about the second half.
And we were 3 or 4 out of fourth down conversions. I thought Austin did a real good job of running the option and reading it. And we got him in space running the football. And then, I thought Watkins, the freshman, did a good job of running the football. And then we got Jimmy in there to give him some experience. And he made a couple of really good throws. And he's done well when we put him in spots this year. So, and I thought what we were trying to do was win the second half. And you always come out and you want to win the third and fourth quarter. And that was our goal at halftime, was come out and win the second half. And then you look at total yardage, we put up more total yards than they did. But again, you can't, people say, well, it's a running offense, but they're really good at throwing the football. But their run sets up the pass and the play action pass.
Statistically, some of the highlights from Mars Hill. Azua led the Lions, going 9 of 15, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Craig Rucker doing his usual efficient job, hauling down 10 receptions for 132 yards and 2 scores from Mars Hill. Austin Brown, as you mentioned, solid job, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. He led the rushing attack with 84 yards on 10 carries. And then we had a season high 27 points, 266 yards rushing. Total offensive yardage 553. So better second half.
Yes.
Points to build on there. You got Arzua some playing time. That's the type of thing that should pay some dividends down the road, that now you've got some 2 QBs that you're able to mix some things together with?
Well, you want to make sure that any of them can go down so fast at that position. So you'd rather be ahead and put them in than be behind and put them in. But I think Austin was in the fourth quarter. He had run so much, running the football and everything. So we knew in the fourth quarter that he was a little bit tired. So we wanted to make sure that Jimmy got some quality reps in. And then we played a lot of young guys Thursday. We played a lot of young guys on defense and a lot of young guys on offense. So, but I thought we responded in the second half and came out, and you always challenge them to finish, and that's what you want them to do, is come out and finished the second half.
We were talking about third down and fourth down conversion percentages as a season total. Lions now 17 of 45, but we went 8 of 17 in the LR contest for 47%. And again, that big improvement on fourth down conversions, 4 of 13 on the season. But all of those, we were 3 of 4 on Thursday.
Yeah, and we also we're good in the red zone, and we had to work on scoring. We were in the red zone, which we did, and so there's some improvements there that we can build off of, and then we've got to build off some of the things that we did, defensively, and just get ourselves where we're not going to give up big plays. And I thought there were some spots in there where we played the run real well, and now we'll go back to getting where we were early in the year, defending the pass real well and trying to choke the run out. So now you want them to pass when you want them to pass, not when they want to.
And you're basically looking for a point where you can settle in to a good, consistent, down the field, let's chew up the clock so
Yes.
they don't have the ball
Yeah.
and take it to our advantage.
And we talked about it last week. We want to get better in the run game. That's our goal. We want to get back to where we were in the run game, till this past year. So we want to make sure we get a lot better in the run game, because you get better in the run game, you can do what you want to do in the passing game, and you keep your defense off the field, and they don't get near as tired. And if you get better in the run game, we'll get better in the kicking game. Is what we got to do each week. And I think we got back, and I think we had 2 real good practices this weekend, and I thought we had a real good practice today.
And that's what you want to hear rolling
Yeah.
into another conference game.
That's right.
We'll talk about that toward the close of the show. Right now, you and I have talked about it. Sit back and enjoy some of the highlights from Lenoir-Rhyne Marzille game. to our player spotlight feature. One of the Mountain Lions for this season, Jacari Williams. Jacari, tell us about yourself. Where are you from, and what all you're involved with here on the Mars Hill University campus?
From Brunswick, Georgia, senior. I'm a president of Criminal Justice Club here on Mars Hill's campus, and that's usually about it. I just try to lead by example, you know.
What position you play for Mountain Lions?
Linebacker, fifth-year senior. You know, it's been a journey being here at Mars Hill, just having to wait my turn for guys in front of me and just learning from them.
Well, and looking at your numbers this year, 8 solo tackles so far this season, 7 assists for a total of 15. You're averaging out 5 tackles per game. That's not chump change, so that was worth the wait. But talk with us a little bit about that, because you are a 5th-year senior, and you're chomping at the bit the whole time, like I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to be out there, and it's tough because you do kind of have to progress through and see some other people play sometimes. So from a player's perspective, what's the most challenging thing about that? Is it just to kind of stay in the routine, or what is it?
I don't know. It got real discouraging sometimes. It's like, dang, why am I not playing? Why am I not playing? But me and my roommate, he's our conference guy, Juwan Edwards. Me and him, we used to have talks in the room, just this and that. Like sometimes as a player, you have to know your role. I helped out a lot on special teams my years here at Mars, and then last year he ended up going down, so then I had to step up, be a leader on the team, and it just progressed into the spring, now to this season.
I've talked with some of the other seniors and kind of posed this question to them, so I'll pose it to you. As a senior, what responsibilities do you feel to this team, particularly when we're 0-1 in the conference, but we still, if you look at the conference race, there's this clump of folks that are 0-1.
Right.
So it's early. Anything's possible right now. So you're a senior. Say I'm the new guy on the team, which that would scare a lot of people. I was the new guy on the team. We'll get into that. But I'm the new guy on the team. What do you hope that I see in you? What are the things that you want to be doing as a senior?
I just want to lead by example and want to show everybody that I'm giving my excitement every day. I'm giving 110%, and I'm sprinting, I'm doing the right thing. And I was just showing everybody that I'm buying in. You buy in, you do the right thing, you get on the field, you'll make plays. And as a younger player, they'll respect you. They'll respect you and see leadership in you. Like, okay, Jacari, he's doing the right thing. I want to be more like Jacari.
Well, and also based upon you sticking with it through when you were discouraged, you can speak to them to that issue
right.
too. That sometimes there's big deep valleys right before you kind of start head up and get up on high peaks for the best view and the best performance. So I knew that they probably look to you for that role too.
Right. I just tell them, it's like I was in the same spot you guys in. Some guys don't like to get red shirt, be on the scout team, or whatever. But those are growing pains. Those are growing pains. You have to go through something to be able to get out on top of it. So
looking ahead for the rest of your time here at Mars Hill University, I think you graduate in December.
Yes,
then what for you?
Then I'm moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, to pursue my career in criminal justice, law enforcement wise.
Very good. Well, we know you will continue to represent this institution well.
Yes, sir.
And we wish you the very best remaining part of this season, and thank you for hanging in with us and being part of the Mountain Lion legacy. We'll be right back with more right after this. Welcome back to our second player feature of the evening with Michael Foster. Michael, You're from just over the ridge in East Tennessee. Talk about how that is to be close to home and play for the Mountain Lions.
Yes, sir. It's fun. You know, only about an hour drive, so I can go home when I need to. Mom can cook supper for me.
That's not a bad plan.
Yeah, but it's nice. I have a lot of family come to all the games. It's very close for them, and it's been fun to really show what I can do after high school on to college. And
played for the Indians, Dobbins Bennett. Anybody keeps up with football in East Tennessee knows that's kind of a perennial name.
yes, sir.
We've had some great athletes come out of that school many years, not only football, women's basketball, various sports. And it makes a difference, I think, for our program to mix in not only the talent from a good distance away, but also that local talent, because you mentioned it gives an opportunity for family to be here and be supportive, in which, if they're very, very far away, some of our players, they simply don't, it's not possible to do that all the time. What big difference does that make in terms of how you do things out there in the field, knowing that, hey, there are folks up in the stands pulling for me?
Well, you always want to make your name big. You want to make your family proud. You want to make your name out there, and it gives me a little extra drive knowing that people here know me back home. People back home know I'm here, so it drives me a lot knowing that they'll be here every week.
You're a junior here on the Mars Hill campus, offensive line. For those that don't know, just give us the kind of the simplified version of, okay, line, they must be up front. Yes, they are. You take it from there. What's your assignment comes game time?
We do the dirty work. We take the beating so the other guys can succeed, and we like that. We like that challenge. We like knowing that they succeed because of us.
So you free up and let the guys kind of go at it,
yes, sir,
downfield on some open passes and things like that. Does make a difference. Talk to us a little bit about what you're majoring in here at Mars Hill and what you hope to do with that another year or so of graduation.
I'm a business major. I'd like to work in human resources. I like the psychology part of it, and helping people, hiring and firing would be fun too. But I'd like to work back home, move back home to Kingsport, and just settle down there.
Got some friends that are in the HR at some different levels, and some of those have been football guys, and they talk about how what they did here on Saturdays paid off, because every time, whether it's in the locker room or out here during the game, you're dealing with different personalities, and that's basically what you're going to do in HR.
Yeah, you play with guys you like, and you play with guys you don't like, and I've learned just to deal with them, just to treat everyone the way you want to be treated on the field. And I hope I can translate that into work and really be a leader in the work area, but also work well with others too.
We wish you continued success, not only in your studies here at the university, but also out on the field. We'll be right back with more right after this.
University, helping you move your mountain.
Mars Hill University gives me plenty of degrees to choose from.
At MHU, I get the attention I deserve.
MHU keeps me close to home, and there's tons to do in the mountains.
Over 60 courses of study, small class settings, a breathtaking campus. These are just a few examples of how MHU can help you start moving your mountain. Visit us today at mhu.edu. Mars Hill University, education that moves mountains.
Welcome back, Stuart Jolley and Tim Clifton. And Tim, we're looking ahead this week. The Indians Catawba come to town. What do you know about them as we get ready to prepare for a kickoff here at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon?
Well, we know offensively, they're a multiple offense team like us. They'll run the power like we run, the inside zone like we run, and their offense is sort of a combination of what we do. And then defensively, they're a four-man front and a three-man front. They can play both. They can play even front and odd front. And I thought last year we had a great battle with them over there. We gave up a touchdown over there. We fumbled in the end zones, if you remember, and then dropped another one that could have very easily been a touchdown. So, it's always a good battle between Catawba and Mars Hill, and Coach Walker does a great job with them. And you know when you play them, it's going to be a physical game because they're always real physical. And the other thing is, on defense they're going to always have really good linebackers. Coach Walker himself was a real good linebacker at Catawba, and they can always have real good linebackers, and they can always have one defensive lineman that's different than anybody in the league, and they're true to form. Again, this year they're really good at linebacker, they're really good at defensive line, and then offensively they're going to be physical, just like their defense.
Looking at some of the preseason picks, they were picked to finish third in the South Atlantic Conference.
Yeah.
And then as they've rolled along through the season, looking at their third down conversions, they've kind of struggled in that area. They're 8 of 31 on third down conversions this season, 0-2 on fourth down conversions. So they're trying to settle in also, it looks like, offensively.
They played West Georgia, who is really good.
You don't want to schedule them for homecoming.
And you don't want to go down there either. And they went down there, and we were down there a few years ago, and West Georgia's really good, and West Georgia's probably the best defensive team I've seen on film this year. They're better than anybody we've played, and they're better than anybody else I've seen on film. So they had their work cut out for them. Moving the ball against West Georgia, and they were in that thing 7-3 there for a long time. So, and Winston-Salem's always a real good football team. Now they didn't play this week, so it gave them more time to get ready for us because of their game with Pembroke was being moved, and then they didn't play it at all. So. They've had a little extra time to get ready for us. So, but they'll be prepared, and they do a good job. And like I said, it's always a battle between us and Catawba.
It is. Players to watch from Mars Hill if you following the statistical categories this season. Craig Rucker, he's got 28 catches, 347 yards. Austin Brown's going 56 of 89 on passing. Clarendon Cowart, 9 catches, 139 yards. Chris Ferdinand, we talked about him back and healthy again, 20 tackles, 11 for solo. And Trey Smith, 26 tackles, 19 for solo. Continue to look from leadership from those guys as we build going into the thick of things in the South Atlantic Conference. Because, Coach, you look at it last week in league action, Newberry over Virginia Lynchburg, 27-14. LR over Mars Hill, 59-27. Tusculum, 37-10 over Limestone. That Catawba UNC Pembroke game postponed. And a good one Saturday night, Carson Newman 31, Wingate 14. So after the first real week of play in the league, Carson Newman, Lenoir-Rhyne, Tusculum are 1-0. Catawba, this will be their sack opener. Newberry also waiting on a sack opener, and then Wingate, Limestone, and Mars Hill. We're all knotted 0-1 in the league, so it's still wide open for anybody.
Oh, it's still early in the year, and I think the teams that are going to be successful are the ones that can get through the next 3 or 4 games and not have a whole lot of injuries. It's always, as the year goes on in this conference, is who can stay healthy, and who can play with as many starters that they start the season with, because this is really a tough conference to play in. And then if you play like Catawba did, I mean, you open with West Georgia and play Winston-Salem, that's a tough road too. So, and a lot of our guys went out there and played some tough people early. LR, went and played West Alabama, and we opened with ETSU. So a lot of the teams going out there and playing a really tough early schedule to get ready for conference play. And I think we're in a situation right now where everybody's still tight. Everybody's still working to get in the race. And Catawba last year, I thought somehow they didn't make the NCAA playoffs. And it was a little bit shocking that they didn't make the playoffs. So, they'll come in knowing that now they've got to push their way to really be successful here down the road. And we're the same way. So I think it'll be a great contest. And I think our guys are looking forward to it. We've had several days of really good practice. And we got some guys trying to get well during this process.
So it's going to, as bad as it was having to have that compressed schedule last week, it will help us rolling into Saturday.
You would hope that we can get a couple of guys back. We won't get Tyler back. I mean, he tore his knee up and he will not be back. And, we've got some guys that right now that hadn't practiced so far because of injuries. And so we've got to see if we can get those guys back and get them healthy. But it'll be an interesting day, and we're excited about the challenges out there, and we're excited about the rest of the year. And we've got a class coming back at homecoming, the 93, and they've done a great job of pushing their agenda. What we're trying to do now, and I want to put it out, we're trying to get all the former players back on Friday night before homecoming, and we need to put it out there now, and we need to put it on our Facebook page and Twitter. But we want to get all the former players back on Friday night. We will have a walkthrough in the stadium at 7 o'clock that night, and we want to get them all back for a reunion of all the former players from 60s, 70s, 80s, whoever's out
that
there.
That would be great.
Bring them all back and let some of them talk with the players and talk to the team. But we'd like to get as many of them back for that week as we can, and that we want as many people locally and the students and the parents to be here Saturday and help rally our team against Catawba.
We're looking forward to that 1 o'clock kickoff against the Indians of Catawba. It will be the South Atlantic Conference first home game in Mears Stadium for Mars Hill. And we look forward to seeing you here for all of the action. And we'll talk about it a little bit more then next week. But for now, Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolley. Have a great and safe rest of the week. We'll see you here at Mears Stadium on Saturday afternoon.
MHU on 3, 1, 2, 3.
MHU!